To reach net zero emissions by 2070, the global economy needs to replace an enormous amount of fossil fuels. We're looking at a demand of roughly 176,000 terawatt-hours of clean energy, meaning the scale of solar deployment required over coming decades is substantial. But solar potential is not distributed equally. The torrid zone, the geographic band sitting between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, receives up to 300 sunny days a year. Because of its position, sunlight hits this region at a near 90-degree angle, delivering intense, direct radiation. This chart compares the levelized cost of energy, or LCOE, which is the average lifetime cost of producing electricity. Thanks to that 90-degree incidence, generating solar power in India costs about 6 to 8 cents per unit. In higher latitudes like Russia, that exact same unit cost 26 cents. Yet in 2019, India found itself in a severe geopolitical trap. Despite sitting on this geographic gold mine, the country was importing up to 95% of its solar technology from China. The sunlight was entirely free, but India was bleeding billions of dollars in capital just to acquire the physical wafers and panels required to catch it. Relying on a single foreign supplier for the hardware of energy independence was a glaring energy risk. Recognizing that exposure triggered a national pivot, scaling domestic operations so rapidly that India became the world's second-largest solar manufacturer in just 4 years. Look at this graph showing India's domestic solar capacity. It jumps from 8.2 gigawatts in 2021 to 210 gigawatts by 2025. This 25-fold expansion was driven by a $21 billion production-linked incentive scheme that finally made domestic manufacturing financially viable against imported hardware. But capital alone wasn't enough. Domestic entrepreneurs moved beyond small government tenders, reconfiguring their operations for global-scale, high-volume manufacturing. To build trust across the supply chain, some manufacturers adopted a collaborative strategy. They opened their factory floors to direct competitors, manufacturing components for them to ensure industry-wide quality and efficiency. Because solar technology improves and iterates so quickly, young engineers are now deliberately spending years inside these large manufacturing organizations to master the complex processes before they spin out and launch their own clean tech startups. That deep expertise is necessary because the photovoltaic assembly process is highly technical. It starts with raw slices of silicon, called wafers, which undergo precise chemical and electrical treatments to actually convert sunlight into an electric current. Engineers apply anti-reflection coatings and front passivation layers to reduce light bounce and maximize power output. Once treated, dozens of these individual cells are wired together and encased to form the high-efficiency solar modules that eventually go to market. Mastering this microscopic engineering and scaling the factory output was a mandatory prerequisite. India needed that heavy industrial base before it could successfully deploy hardware into some of the harshest environments on Earth. The ultimate test for this domestic technology is the expansive Khavda Desert facility in Gujarat, which pushes spatial optimization to its physical limits. Engineers at Khavda deploy bifacial solar panels, which are mounted on algorithm-controlled smart hinges rather than fixed steel frames. These hinges actively rotate 180 degrees throughout the day. By tracking the sun across the sky, the double-sided panels absorb direct radiation from above while simultaneously capturing the light reflecting off the white salt floor below. However, just 1 millimeter of desert dust can slash a panel's efficiency by 30%. If the park's operators manually washed millions of panels on site, they would waste over 10.7 billion liters of scarce water every single year. To solve this, the arrays are equipped with waterless robotic cleaners. They continuously sweep dust off the glass without a single drop of liquid, operating entirely on the solar power they are actively protecting. By engineering automated robotics, India took a hostile, water-scarce wasteland and optimized it into a highly productive clean energy asset. Building this domestic capacity yielded immediate financial returns. In a single year, India cut its solar import bill by 50%. The reversal is so significant that Indian factories are now manufacturing hardware for leading Chinese brands, pivoting from a dependent consumer to a net global exporter. In 2025, India shipped approximately 5 gigawatts of solar modules globally. Of those exports, 96.8% went directly to the United States. India is now leveraging its industrial weight as a foreign policy tool. Co-founding the International Solar Alliance with France, the initiative aims to organize over 100 nations in the torrid zone to mobilize $1 trillion in solar investments by 2030. Through the Alliance's STAR program, they are actively exporting technical frameworks and entrepreneurship training to emerging markets in Africa, as well as neighbors like Bangladesh, to help them build their own infrastructure. The ultimate goal is an initiative known as One Sun, One World, One Grid. By connecting a transnational electricity network, countries share power across time zones. When a nation enters the night, it draws power from a region currently experiencing daytime. Transmitting a continuous, rolling supply of global energy effectively balances the global load and significantly lowers the steep costs associated with building localized battery storage. The transition from a dependent importer to the architect of a global grid suggests that geography is only destiny if a nation engineers the technology to harness it.